This next book is a rather unusual book, but it's also an incredibly old book. It goes back thousands of years. One of the oldest books which has been written. It's a very thin book, and it's by a guy called Lao Tzu. So it's called the Tao Te Ching, and I've got a copy here, the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu, and let me read to you a bit from this preface here. The Tao is not an easy thing to understand. The Tao which can be told is not the Tao, says the first line of this little book, which means to say that all explanations must ultimately fail. That which can be told of the Tao is best gathered by the original author, Lao Tzu, who was born in China around 601 BC. So this is ancient wisdom. And it's who wrote the Tao Te Ching to provide such an insight. The idea he presents is one common in Eastern philosophy, namely that all life is suffering one way or another, and the root cause of suffering is ultimately your own desires, and awareness comes when you understand that to let go of desire is to let go of what makes you miserable. The master who speaks forth in the Tao has let go of almost everything that he needs to let go of, and it's the act of letting go that allowed him to move ahead and will allow you to follow. But letting go requires sacrifice, and sacrifice, if it means anything, is always hard. This is a book which contains many short little phrases. I think there are 81 of them, is that right? If I remember correctly. 81 small little, they're almost like verses, they're almost like poems, and they are little nuggets of wisdom, sort of little specks which are placed around. And some of them, you may find that when you read them, they resonate with you and they make a lot of sense. Some of them, they may not mean anything at all. You may pass over them and not understand what they mean. I'll give you an example of a couple of these so that you can see what kind of words they have here. Let's start with the first one. The Tao which can be told is not the Tao. The name which can be named is not the name. The nameless is the beginning of heaven and earth, and the named is the mother of the 10,000 things. Freed from desire, you see the reality. Filled with desire, you see the appearance. And yet reality and appearance are the same. There are unknown unknowns within the unknown, and they stand at the gateway to understanding. Let me give you another flavour. It gives you some idea of what it's like. It's hard to know what to pick out from this because they're all different and yet they're all very similar. Let's just take one almost at random. Number 2. When you appreciate beauty, it's because you've seen ugliness. When you appreciate goodness, it's because you've seen evil. In other words, there's a kind of relativism in the world, and you can't have, this is dealing here with the problem of evil, I suppose. Why is there evil in the world? Well, without it, there wouldn't be any goodness, because you have one to measure against the other. Without both, you don't have a scale by which to do any measuring, and neither of them would exist. Something and nothing create each other. Difficult and easy define each other. Long and short determine each other. High and low complete each other. Music and words harmonize each other. Before and after follow each other. Act without doing, teach without speaking. The 10,000 things come, and you let them come. The 10,000 things go, and you let them go. Have, but don't possess. Give, but don't demand. Act without seeking reward, and your act will last forever. It's a book which will either resonate with you or it won't. And if this doesn't resonate with you at all, then pass on by and leave it where it is. I have a quotation here from Jordan B. Peterson. Some of you may have heard of Jordan B. Peterson. I don't know if you have. If you have heard of him, he said this about it. I really like the Tao Te Ching. It's a remarkable document. There is great wisdom in that book. Well, it's a very small book, and I do actually have a number of copies of this available. So if anybody actually wants one, come and ask me. I will give you one of these. So that's available to you on request. There are other books too, but say if it doesn't mean anything to you what I've read, and it may not do, in fact it probably won't for most people, move on by and have a look at something else, because there are many other things which will be maybe more attuned to your particular approach to the world. Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu.